Welcome, welcome. Welcome, brothers and sisters. How's that mic? Is it good? Nice and clear. Thank you for coming out, New Jersey. We have a special relationship because 10 long years ago, I did my pre-doctoral internship in Trenton at the Ewing Residential Treatment Center, which is now closed. And that was right across the street from Trenton State Psychiatric Hospital. So I got to learn DIFUS, which is no longer called DIFUS, but I interned with DIFUS and I saw how in New Jersey, they made it almost impossible for relatives to gain custody of children in the family. And I didn't understand how you could take this black child and give him or her to a white mother, but yet you got black relatives who want that child. And excuse after excuse was made to stop black people from taking possession of their own children. And so I spent the year in New Jersey doing that internship, and I've spent time in New Jersey throughout the years. Obviously, living in Philadelphia, North Philly, I'm 5 minutes from Camden, so I'm very familiar with Camden. I interned in Trenton, very familiar with Trenton. Of course, my good sisters, the Jordan family, up in Paterson, New Jersey. I'm normally with them every year for the Fred Jordan Memorial Scholarship Banquet that they do. Shout out to Eastside High School. So brothers and sisters, 4.5 years ago, if y'all can go back in your mental Rolodex, we started raising money for a school. Some of y'all remember that. In the spring of 2014, I learned that there was a HBCU for sale in Virginia, St. Paul's College. So we started raising money for St. Paul's College, and the money was coming in. But it wasn't coming in fast enough. And I really wanted St. Paul's College, 118 acres, 15 buildings, built by our own African ancestors out of slavery, and it was only $2 million. It was a steal. But we couldn't raise the money fast enough. So unfortunately, I have to admit to you all that St. Paul's was purchased last year by the Chinese. So we have allowed another ethnic group to buy a piece of historic black property. I don't think European Jews would have allowed black folk to buy historically Jewish college. I don't think Chinese would have allowed white folk to buy a college that had such a historical relevancy to their history and culture. But with black people, because our priorities are all screwed up, it's easy for people to come in and exploit our historical achievements for personal gain. So, after St. Paul's got purchased, we didn't stop. We kept on looking for schools. I came to Jersey, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I should have had a Catholic school in Trenton. It was $550,000. It came with 2 houses. I went, I inspected it, we had the money. I said, we coming to Trenton, New Jersey. And then once they saw that this young black male had cash money, all of a sudden, the Catholic school was across the street from a church. The bishop said, we don't want to sell it no more, we just want to lease it. So then I contacted the real estate agent and I told her, they want to lease? Fine, let's lease. And then she stopped returning all my calls. and returning all my emails. And I don't wish her no harm. But for all of you who are my family, if you ever come across the name Beth Chesmar, Bethed Chezmar, don't ever do any business with her, okay? Because we have to stop letting people practice racism against us and then get away with it, okay? I have nothing against her personally, but when it came to the real estate, you stopped me from buying that school because I was a young black male. And she stopped responding to the phone calls and the emails. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure the church didn't want me to have it. But you should have been woman enough to tell me that they don't want to sell to you, as opposed to aligning yourself with them and keeping us from buying the school in Trenton, New Jersey. Okay? So we should have been in Trenton. But guess what? I came to Newark late last year. And I came across a school. It was not a Catholic school. Bilal know what I'm talking about because I sent Bilal to go look at it. Do you remember the name of that school here in Newark? What was the name of it? What street was that? That address? Chancellor Avenue. Anybody from, there's a school on Chancellor Avenue right across the street from like a fast food. Well, it's in front of a bus stop. The bus stop's right there. Chancellor Avenue. Y'all know what I'm talking about. One level. I was gonna lease that because he said, I don't think they wanted to sell. He said they wanted to lease. So I said, fine, I'm ready to lease. Draw up the papers. Next thing you know, he calls me up and says they decided to go in another direction. So we could have been in Newark, we could have been in Trenton, and racism kept us out of both. So a year and a half ago, right after the 2017 August the 21st eclipse, August 21st, 2017, the big solar eclipse, y'all remember that? I was down at Nat Turner land, celebrating Nat Turner. And I came back, and on my way back to Philadelphia, I was checking LoopNet. And I saw a school in Wilmington, Delaware. So I went and I checked the school out. I said, this ain't a bad place. But they wanted 1.1 million. I couldn't afford it. So I started speaking with the realtor and the owners, and I said, listen, all I have is $750,000. Can y'all reduce the price? He said, nah. He said, give us the 7 and you can pay off the rest with some interest. I said, I didn't raise money for 5 years just so I can flip it into a note and end up owing y'all more. So I just kept at it, kept at it, kept at it. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, the heaven must have cracked open. And in February of this year, the owners decided to sell us the school for the money that we had. So brothers and sisters, I want to say a special thank you to New Jersey, because a lot of those donations that we collected over the past 5 years came from all over New Jersey. They came from Newark, they came from Patterson, Elizabeth City, Camden, Willingboro, Trenton, and the list goes on. So for all my donors in here who were loyal to Dr. Umar during these 5 long years of character assassinations, and 5 long years of being accused of stealing the money, okay? I want to say thank you for not letting the YouTube coons persuade you to stop supporting me, because in essence, you were not supporting me, but you were supporting the future of black boys. Now, if you're interested in seeing the school, there's an opportunity for you in 4 weeks. I want you to mark your calendar, for June 8th and June 9th in Wilmington, Delaware, at the Boys and Girls Club in Wilmington, Delaware. Right around the corner from our school, not my school, but our school. I'm going to be holding a 2-day National Independent Black Parent Association training. So if any of you want to help us and help Sister Kalia, who's the president of our Montclair chapter of the Parent Association, that's the sister who took your tickets at the door wearing the long sleeve white Nat Turner t-shirt. She's been with us for years organizing the parents in Montclair. But guess what? We need chapters of the NIBPA in Newark. We need them in Jersey City. We need them in Elizabeth. Every town where we have black children, we need chapters of the NIBPA. And what exactly does the NIBPA do? We organize to fight against racism in 6 key areas. Now, I need you to be clear that even though we have a school, every black child in America can't fit in the FDMG Academy. We have to build schools all over the place. And I still want one in Newark, New Jersey. So I'm saying that as you go about your business, keep your eyes open for schools that's been sitting and no one's been doing anything with them. Is Brother Ross Baraka still the mayor? He is. Shout out to him. Maybe we can communicate with him and maybe he can slide us something on the side. Because if we don't get it, the white folks are going to get it, and they're going to gentrify it and turn it into some expensive apartments or a strip mall, okay, or a mini mansion. So we need one of those school buildings so we can go ahead and start laying the foundation for Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy Newark campus. That's what we need, okay? So keep your eyes open. We don't have to wait for Wilmington to be up and running to get something started in Newark right now. I want to be clear about that. You guys are only an hour's drive. That's nothing for us to have a campus here along with the one in Wilmington. I want to be very clear about that. We're not done. We have a long way to go. But I cannot forget about all those children who cannot be served in that school. So I have to keep fighting for our boys and girls in public school. So what are the 6 committees of the NIBPA? Committee number 1, special education. This committee will investigate the special education fraud, conspiracy, and exploitation in Newark, New Jersey. In Jersey City, in Elizabeth, in Montclair, all over the place. In other words, how many black boys in special ed in Newark public schools? How many are in special ed for the learning disability versus autism versus the emotional disturbance versus the intellectual impairment, versus the speech and language impairment, versus other health impairment for ADHD, versus deafness, versus blindness, versus developmental delay, versus traumatic brain injury, versus orthopedic impairment. How many are in each of the 13 special education categories? And then we gotta ask ourselves, how many black boys and girls are in special ed all day versus some of the day? How many of them are in special ed for no other reason than the teacher did not want to be bothered in the first place? Let me explain something. And I talk to you as an expert certified school psychologist. I talk to you as a former school principal. I talk to you as a doctor of clinical psychology. And I want you to know that most of your sons that are in special ed in New Jersey are not there because they cannot learn. They're there because somebody did not want to teach. Okay? I want to be clear. I want to be absolutely clear about that. And this is why, after today, I hope no mother or father in this auditorium, this gym, will ever sign permission for your 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and 8-year-old to be evaluated for a learning disability. Let's talk about this thing called a learning disability. Now, first of all, special education is 13 categories, okay? I've already named them, right? Learning disability, autism, emotional disturbance, intellectual disability, other health impairment, speech and language, developmental delay, traumatic brain injury, orthopedic impairment, multiple disabilities, deafness, blindness. There's 13. But guess what? Out of the 13, only one stands alone as representing more than 85% of black children in special ed. Most of our kids are not in special ed for being blind. Most of them are not in special ed for being deaf. Most of them are not in special ed for being autistic. Most of them are not in special ed for being intellectually disabled. Most black children in America, Newark up to Connecticut, down to Pennsylvania, all the way down to Florida, across to Texas, over to California, back to Chicago and Detroit. Most black children are in special ed for the learning disability. So here's my question for my parents of 6, 7, and 8-year-olds. If your child only been learning for a year or two, how did you allow someone to convince you so soon in their academic career that they need special help in order to learn? I don't understand, y'all, when I hear about 5-year kindergarten. My child is in special ed in kindergarten for a learning disability. That's a baby. Now, can I legally evaluate? Yes. Special ed begins at age 3. Yes, I can legally say he's reading disabled, math disabled, but should I? Of course not. And what all you parents need to understand is there is no way to objectively prove whether or not the child has a learning disability. Let me say it again. I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. I said there is no objective scientific way that you can prove that Raheem has a reading disability. You can't prove a learning disability. You can't prove ADHD. You can't prove an emotional disturbance. You can't prove conduct disorder. Now some of you are saying, wait a minute, Dr. Umar, wait. I have a 20-page psychological evaluation report on my son. They did all these tests on my son, and you're telling me that they can't prove he has a learning disability? Well, if that's the case, then why do I have a 20-page report? I'll tell you why. When we sit down with your child as psychologists, we give them an IQ test, an achievement test, a visual motor test, a psychological assessment, an emotional measure, a visual motor assessment, an adaptive behavior measure. We interview the mother and father. We interview the teacher. We observe the child in the class. We look at his test scores, his attendance, his grades, and then we look at all this information and we make a professional opinion. We make a professional opinion. Not a single test that we gave your child. If you don't believe me, when you go home, read the whole report, which most of y'all never do. Most of y'all never do. That's the ghetto program. We flip to the back to see what the diagnosis is. Did you bother to read what they say? None of those tests can prove if your child is retarded. reading disabled, autistic. None of them tests can prove the labels we get. So how do we arrive at the label? I look at the information, I look at the scores, I use my training, my expertise, my experience, and I make a guesstimation, a hypothesis, a working opinion of whether or not I think Raheem has a learning disability. Can I prove it? No. Is there a blood test for a learning disability? No. Is there a CAT scan for ADHD? No. Is there a urine sample for emotional disturbance? No. Is there an X-ray for mild mental retardation? Hell no. You can't prove the labels we use as psychologists. Now, when you go to the doctor and the doctor says you're diabetic, they can run a sugar test and prove you're diabetic. If the doctor says you have cancer, they can conduct an ultrasound and show you the image of the cancer. If you have heart disease, they can show you pictures of your clogged arteries. But when someone says your son has a reading disability, there's no proof they can give you for that. We simply look at the numbers and offer our opinion. And you know what's so sad? You got black men all across New Jersey suffocating in these prisons because 20 years ago, somebody gave their mother and father an opinion and you ran with it. And that's why you should never share with your child the labels that people give you about them because they're not scientific, they are opinions. Oh yes. And for black folks, I don't understand why you would let white folks tell you what your child can't learn how to do. Last time I checked, we were brought to America because people thought we were intellectually disabled. That has always been America's belief about African people. So why would you take a black boy to white people to solve his problems? Are there any problems that have ever been solved for us by white people? But you go running your son in there to the counselor, running your daughter in there to the dean of students. You can't wait to sign permission for him to be tested. I want to get him tested. I think he got ADHD. He can't pay attention. No, his ass is spoiled. Okay? And you don't want to take responsibility for spoiling him. Your son don't have a reading disability. He has a lazy as hell disability. It's not that he can't learn how to read. He don't want to learn, and you're not going to make him. Because after all, he's a football player. After all, he's basketball. After all, he's a track star. After all, he's going to be a rapper, so he never has to apply himself because he's not going to college. He don't have to apply himself. He's not starting a business. He don't have to apply himself. He's not going to trade school. He's going to be a professional athlete. So time that should have been spent practicing his reading is spent practicing his jump shot. Time that should have been spent practicing his math is spent practicing catching those footballs. In other words, the worst thing that can happen to a black child in New Jersey is to have a teacher who don't care and a black parent who couldn't care less. And some of you are just as guilty as the school to prison pipeline as it relates to pumping out new inmates for New Jersey's private prisons. And guess what else? If you haven't been paying attention, did y'all know that the New Jersey state pension system for teachers, judges, police, firemen, and municipal jobs, did you know that the pension system in your state that invests to help raise money for teacher retirement in New Jersey, they actually invest in private prisons. Who knew that? New Jersey invests in private prisons to make money for teacher retirement. Now, isn't that a contradiction? Isn't that a conflict of interest? The job of the teacher is to make sure your son succeeds. But if he succeeds, that could affect her retirement pay. So not only do we have a school to prison pipeline, we have a teacher retirement pension fund to pipeline. They are investing in your son's chances of going to jail, so the very person who's supposed to make sure he don't end up in jail can live comfortably after retirement. And Negroes can't wait for you to run out and vote for somebody. Let me tell you what I think about voting. I don't vote for Negroes no more unless they can answer me 3 questions. I don't care if you're running for mayor of Newark. I don't care if you're running for state rep of New Jersey. I don't care if you want to be a council person. I don't care if you're running to be a committee man, if you want to be a council person, U.S. Senator, Governor, Lieutenant Governor. And I hope to God we don't get another black president, because you Negroes partied too long with the last one. I don't want to see another black president because we are so emotionally immature. We are so emotionally immature as a people that if they put somebody black in front of you, you get so emotionally blinded by the color of the person in office that you don't see what the hell he doing while he in office. Did you know before Barack Obama got elected, black people were the priority minority in America? For 400 years, you were the priority minority. America didn't do nothing for you, but they had to speak on black issues. Bill Clinton had to speak. George Bush had to speak. Ronald Reagan had to speak. Jimmy Carter had to speak. Gerald Ford had to speak. Lyndon Baines had to speak. Kennedy had to speak. But in the post-Obama era, you don't even have to mention black people or their problems. And that's your fault. That's your fault. Because you let white supremacy give you a Negro to take care of everybody else in America but his own people, put you to sleep for 8 years, tuck your ass in, and Donald Trump shows up with the alarm clock to wake your ass up. I got Negroes texting me, what do you think about Donald Trump? Isn't he bad? No worse than Obama. Well, stop talking about Obama. He one of ours. He ain't one of mine. See, I'm not interested in a black president. I don't need a black mayor. I don't need a black council person. I don't need a black senator. Guess what I'm looking for? Not black faces. I want black power. You understand? And there's a difference between seeing somebody black and being able to feel the power that black people have to influence the behavior of no matter who wins. So why did Dr. Umar say, I'm not voting for black folks unless they can answer 3 questions? Question number 1, are you a Democrat or Republican candidate? Because if you are, I'm not voting for you. Why? Because the Democratic Party is a white racist institution. The Republican Party is a white racist institution. Neither one of them have ever done anything significantly to help black folk. And if you belong to that party, you are obligated to uphold the party's agenda, even if it's not in the best interest of African people. This is why, no matter who gets elected, you hardly see any change. Because when you Democrat, you part of the Democratic club. When you Republican, you part of the Republican club. So I only vote for independent thinking candidates And the only candidate that can be an independent thinker is an independent candidate. If you do not run on your own platform, I cannot support you. Because all I'm going to get is more of the same lip service without no action. I want independent black candidates. Now, why do most of our candidates run as a Democrat? Because they need money to finance the campaign. It's not that they love the Democrats, they need funding in order to win. Well, guess what, New Jersey? Y'all spend about $3 billion on Christmas gifts every year. And if y'all can spend $3 billion in New Jersey on Christmas gifts, why can't you fund your own candidates? The reason Black America has not benefited from the black politician is because the black politician is dependent on the Democratic Party to finance their campaign. And in case you don't know, there's an old African proverb that says the hand that pays is the hand that rules. Now, specifically, why don't we ever see changes in the schools and changes in the police? What are the two biggest problems facing black boys? Miseducation in New Jersey, police genocide in New Jersey. Why don't you ever see anybody do anything about the schools? And why don't you ever see anybody do anything about the police? Well, guess what? Who are the two largest unions in the United States? Teachers and police. Donald Trump, as tough as he acts, he ain't never gonna do nothing about the schools. Just like Obama ain't do nothing about the schools. Just like George Bush ain't do nothing about the schools. Just like Bill Clinton ain't do nothing about the schools. Just like your governor ain't gonna do nothing about the schools. Your state rep ain't gonna do nothing about the schools. Why? Because if you want to get elected, you have to go through the teachers. You need their votes and you need their money. You want to get elected, you got to go through the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. You need their votes and you need their money. And that's why nothing ever changes in the school, because the average black politician is scared of white teachers and their police husbands. Oh yes. Some of y'all don't even know how many of your children's teachers are married to the police. Isn't it interesting? They use the white woman to miseducate your son, and when she's done, her husband can lock him up. That's why we're building the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Because I know the only thing we need to do to improve education for black boys is to give them black male teachers. And you cut half this nonsense in half. This is not a difficult problem. This is not a difficult problem. Black boys can learn as well as any other boy. Afro-Latino boys can learn as well as any other boy. They keep telling you, oh, black boys in Newark need a special school. They need a special curriculum. They need a special program. They need a special schedule. They need a special this. No, they don't. The black boy don't need nothing different. The problem is the white teacher treats your child differently. She is creating something that's different, not your son. Well, what are you saying? All white teachers have it out for black boys? I'm not saying that. There's exceptions. But as a principal, I can tell you, as a rule of thumb, most could care less. Most could care less. Did y'all not see what happened in Hamden last month? A white female teacher in a supermarket cursed out the black man, called him every word under the sun in front of her own white children. Or what about the one in Baltimore who posted pictures of her black children on Instagram calling them coons and N-words? And you know what's so sad? This ain't even a white woman's fault. It's yours. Because you can take your $3 billion in Christmas money and we can have a school next year for black boys if we really care. See, we don't care. We don't care. So let me give y'all a couple of stops. I want to give all my black parents in here tonight a couple of stops, a couple of don't ever do this again. Number one, don't ever go to a school meeting by yourself ever again. Ever. Black fathers, this includes you. When you go to the school by yourself, you don't have any support. They can gang up on you. They can misrepresent you. They can bully you, and you don't have nobody to serve as a witness to any verbal agreement you made with the school. When you go to a meeting by yourself, you're setting yourself up to lose that negotiation. Always take somebody with you. I prefer that mother go with father. If she can't go with father, I prefer mother go with uncle, mother go with brother, mother go with significant other, mother go with pastor. But take a black man with you, black woman, because they will treat you differently. When a black mother shows up by herself, and I'm talking to my Latino women too, because y'all Africans too, your great-grandma look just like mine, okay? When you go by yourself, they gang up on you, disrespect you, exploit you, and you don't even have a witness. And if you can't find no men, take a couple of your girlfriends with you. In fact, bring the whole family with you. See, one black mother will be in a room waiting for the meeting, right? And then all of a sudden, 20 white folks walk in for one black mother. For one black mother, and we hate black people public school in Newark, they will bring in the principal, the vice principal, the principal intern, the school social worker, the school psychologist, the school nurse, the home and school person, the grade leader, the math specialist, the window cleaner, the bus driver, the lunch man. For one black mother, you got 25 white folks and one coon. There's always one coon. Okay? Her name is Queen Mother Earth, and she's a coon. She works for the school system, and her job is to make black mothers feel comfortable about putting your kids in special ed. Queen Mother Earth's job is to make you feel okay with getting your son diagnosed with ADHD. Queen Mother Earth's job is to make you feel comfortable putting your son on Ritalin, in Adderall, in Concerta, in Metadate, in Cyclone, in Vyvanse, in Prozac, in Paxil, in Risperdal, in Depakote. They always have one black person who looks Afrocentric so they can confuse you and make you think everything you heard Dr. Umar say on May 5th was not the truth. Queen Mother Earth will say, I love Dr. Umar too. I listen to his videos, but he's too extreme. My grandson Raheem was on Ritalin. He turned out all right. Yeah, they caught him running butt naked down the street last night, but not because of the Ritalin. So I'm telling you, you don't trust nobody in the school system. Because if they gotta choose between a paycheck and your child, what you think they're gonna choose? The paycheck. So number one, don't go by yourself. And my black mothers, if you can't find no men to go with you, I want you to go to the street corner and get Tay-Tay and Mike in there. I'm dead serious. You tell Tay-Tay and Mike, I got a meeting for my son. These white folks is ganging up on me. I need y'all to come and represent. First, you tell them to wait outside, and you want to say, I'm gonna let you know how many they got, and we're gonna bring one more. And you just text them. Tay-Tay, they got 9. So Tay-Tay gonna come in with 12. Wife beater, tattoos, cornrows smelling like the greatest marijuana you ever smelled. And you tell them, don't talk, because if you talk, you're gonna mess this whole thing up. I just want you to stand there with your arms folded. Don't even sit down. Stare at them crackers. Just stare at them. Don't blink and nothing. And if you see them start to gang up on me, Tay-Tay, I want you to do one thing. Make a fist. Bang your fist on the desk as hard as you can. And then open your eyes up again and say, I'm not feeling this shit. And guess what? It won't be no more special ed, no more ADHD, no more Ritalin. Bring you some brothers in that school who ain't afraid of white folks, and it will be a whole new conversation. He'll be on the honor roll tomorrow. I'm serious about that. You got to bring the whole family with them white folks, because there's no limit to how many people you can bring to your meeting. They can't just, they can say, well, who's this? That's his godmother. And who's that? That's his spiritual mother. And who's that? That's his play mother. And who's that? That's his weekend mother. They cannot, so you make them feel uncomfortable. Stop letting them make you feel uncomfortable. Shift the dynamic. Are y'all following me, y'all? It's about black power. It's about black power. So that's the first stop. No more going to meetings by yourself. Number two, no more signing paperwork before you read it completely. I don't understand y'all. Y'all will sign paperwork and don't even read it. And then you call me up, Dr. Umar, my son is retarded. What do you mean? They said he was retarded. Did you sign permission for an eval? I don't recall saying I wanted him tested. I didn't ask you what you recall. Did your ass sign some paperwork? Well, they did give me something to sign when I picked them up early. I didn't read it. I just thought, see that? See that? When they give you paperwork, take it home. Don't sign nothing on the spot. And then they're going to tell you, we need this right now. We need this by 3 o'clock. Let me tell y'all something about the schools. Parents don't have timelines. Let me say it again. Parents don't have timelines. Let me say it one more time. Parents don't have timelines. Schools have timelines. So if they tell you, we need this back by 3 o'clock, you're going to say, if you needed this by 3 o'clock today, I should have had it 3 o'clock last Thursday. Are y'all following me? I'm taking it home, I'm going to read it, and this is how you really get them. Mothers, I don't sign anything without talking it over with my son's father. Now some of y'all saying, but he ain't involved. It don't matter. Okay? You don't need them to know that. If you're a single black woman, they don't need to know that. I need y'all to stop bragging in the school about how you a single mom. That does not help you. Because once they know you are a single mom, they're going to load up on you. The child of single black mothers are more likely to be special educated, medicated, juvenile adjudicated, suspended, sent to the principal. When they know you a mother by yourself, no dad involved, no male presence, you can forget it. They're going to call you every day to come pick up your son. Stop telling them you single. Hell, tell them you got 3 husbands. And if they ask you why they ain't seen the husband, you say he's a long-distance truck driver. He only home once a month. But you never tell your personal family business. And why don't you tell your personal family business? Because the school is an extension of the prison industry, which means the principal is an extension of the prison warden. And the teacher is an extension of the police officer. And just like with any police, whatever you say can and will be used against you. You black mothers love going into the school looking for sympathy from the white teachers, don't you? Mrs. Slurbanowski, this is the third day you've called me to come pick up Raheem. I just started a new job. I'm on a 90-day probation. My boss said if I leave again early, I'ma lose my job. I need this job. I'm a single mother living in Newark on welfare. But if I can get this job, that'll put me up to $40,000. I can qualify for the new home. My oldest son, his father in jail. My youngest son, his father just got murdered. Mrs. Slurbanowski, I need you to understand that I'm doing my best. I'm living in my mother's house with all 4 of my kids. But if I can get this job, Miss Slurbanowski, if you can hold on for 90 more days, my son's behavior will change because I will have more time to spend with him. We will have our own house. I will be making better money to do things with my children. Miss Slurbanowski, can you please work with me? And she says, oh my God, Shaquita, I had no idea that it was so difficult for our black mothers. In fact, I'm a single mother. Yes, I'm white, but I divorced my husband Thomas last year, and I've been raising Peter, Simon, and Jupiter all by myself. So I can understand you. In fact, Shaquita, you give me so much inspiration. Doing what you're doing, single black mother in college, raising 4 kids, starting a new job, about to buy your first house. Shaquita, you're my hero. Can I have a hug? Can we pray together? I promise you, from now on, I'm gonna call you first. I'm not gonna involve the principal. I'm gonna call you. We're sisters. And you walk out thinking you got a new white friend, and soon when you leave the school, guess where she goes? To the principal's office. And guess what she tells the principal? Oh, Dr. Silverberger, I don't want to tell on Shaquita, but she smelled like marijuana, and she said she's living in a 1-bedroom home in her mother's house. That can't be safe for the children. And I noticed Raheem been wearing the same dirty school uniform all week. I don't want to get her in trouble, but I'm a teacher and I'm a mandated reporter. And as much as I like Shaquita, I'm obligated to call DIFAS, what they call DIFAS now? DC, PAP, PNP.
Protection and permanence.
So what's that? Exactly. And now you got somebody knocking on your front door talking about, we're from Child Protective Services. We got an anonymous report that there's child neglect going on in your house. They want to go in your refrigerator, they want to look in your toilets, they want to check the basement. They say you ain't got enough square feet per child. Ain't that funny, square feet? How much square feet do we have on the slave ships? Now they want to worry about square feet. You want to worry about square feet 400 years ago, but now you worry about the square feet in my house. Ain't that something? And then guess what they do? They will take your children, and when they come to take the children, they don't take just the one kid. They take them all. And guess who they give them to? In New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Connecticut, Texas, California, Phoenix, they give them to white homosexual couples. Oh yes. And why are white homosexual couples more likely to end up with confiscated black children? I'll tell you why. Because homosexuals cannot have children. So if you're looking for some, there's a whole bunch of black ones. And why are there so many black children available for foster care in New Jersey? Because black people could care less about being a foster parent to black children. Oh no, did you know black people are the last on the list to be willing to take into their home a black child who doesn't have one? You Negroes are trifling. That's right. A white person will take a black child before a black person takes a black child. That's right. That's right. And then we want to look at them kids on the street and say they crazy and they don't know how to act and they ain't got no respect for nobody. Well, guess what? How the hell they going to show love if they ain't never received none? Oh yes. And I want everybody in here to consider being a foster parent. But I want you to do it for the right reasons. Don't do it for the white reasons, do it for the right reasons. The white reasons is to get that money. And guess what? The crazier the child, the more money you get. Oh yeah, they don't get the regular ones. People are like, why do white folks always got the craziest black kids? Like, damn, they got 5 of them. He killed 25 cats. He done suffocated a turtle. He done jumped off the roof. Right? He done stole everybody's dog. Right? You know why? Because the crazier the child, the more money is in it. And that's what I need y'all parents to understand about special education. It is a business. Oh yes. Whenever I would evaluate a child down in Trenton, and see, I was unique because I was a certified school psychologist interning for my doctorate in clinical. So they really used me because I had special paperwork that the white folks didn't have. I type that report, learning disability, emotional disturbed, it goes into a computer. And it gets transferred to Trenton State Department of Ed. And by the end of the month, a welfare check is sent to your child's school. Special ed is a business. Special ed is a hustle. Special ed is a scam of making money off black kids you never taught in the first place. Oh yes. And guess what? The special ed children are worth twice as much as the regular ed children. Wait a minute, what are you saying, Doc? I'm saying in Newark, New Jersey, the average child gets approximately $9,000 per year spent on their education. But once I say he retarded, once I say he learning disabled, once I say he autistic, once I say he's emotionally disturbed, once I say he needs special ed for ADHD, he ain't worth 9, he worth 18,000. And they get the extra money every year that he's in special ed. So let me give you an example. Your son is in the 2nd grade. He's 7 years old. And you were dumb enough to let those white folks evaluate your child at 7 in the 2nd grade. He gets classified for a learning disability, which should have never happened. He's in 2nd. He got 10 more years. So that's an extra 9,000 times 10. That's $90,000 extra, not the regular money, on top for one boy. How much extra for 10 boys? How much extra for 50 boys? How much extra for 500 boys? How many black boys in special ed in Newark times an extra $10,000? And you want to know why they put him in so young? Because he's an investment, just like you was on the slave ship. And I know y'all don't believe black folks, so I had to bring some white paperwork. They say there's no way in hell he adopted. That Negro was too radical. No white folks ain't give him no doctorate. He must have lied. Ain't that's what they said on YouTube? No way in hell they gave some dashiki wearing Negro with a beard a PhD. But what you fail to realize is when I went for my PhD interview, I know how to act like a fool. I put on the tightest suit and the pointiest shoes, and I walked my ass in there. And them white folks at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine said, "Why do you want to come here?" I said, "Oh my God, where do I begin?" I said, "I want to study under Dr. Slurbanowski, her research on prenatal psychological frontal cortex development in the second trimester." Oh my God, this is the greatest piece of research I ever seen in my life. I said, "You're Dr. Silverstein? His book on adolescent male violence? Oh my God, he's a god. I can't wait to study under him. If you let me in here, I'll be the best Negro you ever met." And they said, "Go sit outside. We're going to talk about your application." So I sat outside with my tight suit on. I was bleeding in my underarms. And they called me back. And I went back. And they said, "Congratulations. You will be in the 2004 cohort. Only Negro in the cohort." So then everything went well for 4 years. And then it was time to work on our dissertation. And I wanted to do my dissertation on the relationship between ADHD misdiagnosis and black boys. And they said, "Oh, hell no." So I had to do it on something else. And they gave me a black dissertation chair, the coon. And guess what she did? She told the white folks who I really was. She went to a meeting and she said, "Do y'all know who that is?" They said, "Who? Umar? He's harmless." She said, "No, he..." Type his name in YouTube. And all the videos popped up. Next thing you know, I got a letter talking about we suspended you from the program. And then I said, "Oh, hell no." So when I walked in the next time, I came in as me. I'm not going nowhere. Y'all gonna give me my damn paper or I'm gonna make y'all famous. And they had a meeting. And they said, "Let him go. Because he's not worth all the problems he caused." And I graduated. That's how I got out. See, you don't have to be smart to get your doctorate. You just gotta act like a coon. A black person who goes out of their way to love what white folks say, you will get your PhD and you could be dumb as hell. Yes. So it was hell to get my doctorate. But guess what? I had to play the spook that sat by the door because I don't know too many black psychologists who stand up for our children the way that I do. And I'm not tooting my horn, but you know why you don't see black psychologists in Newark? Y'all got a lot of them. Why they don't be talking like Dr. Umar? Why they don't be telling y'all about these labels in this book? You know why? Because mental health is millions of dollars. Do you know how much money they pay you for a psychological evaluation? You can get $10,000 for one ADHD evaluation. I'm telling you, you can be a millionaire in 2 years if you would just shut up and misdiagnose black kids whose parents don't care enough to do some research. While we on ADHD, when was ADD invented? 1980. It didn't have an H. There was no H. It was ADD, Attention Deficit Disorder. 1980. Is that a coincidence? No. That's the same year that the CIA dropped crack cocaine off in the black community. So what are you saying? I'm saying that the United States government started drugging up our adults the same year they started doping up our children. Oh yes, you don't believe me? do your research. In fact, Ritalin is classified by the Drug Enforcement Agency as a Schedule B drug. It's in the same category as cocaine and opium. And this is what some of y'all give y'all sons. 5 milligrams a day, 5 milligrams of Concerta, 5 milligrams of Cycler, 5 milligrams of this, 5 milligrams of that, turning your sons into crack addicts. Ritalin is synthesized crack. Adderall is synthesized crack. Concerta is synthesized crack. We got a whole generation of crack babies growing up in the name of education. And you know what make it worse? Why am I really mad about y'all? Because, there we go. See, that's my flag. And for all my black men in here, I don't ever want to see you with this flag if I catch your ass with a white girl. Okay? I have nothing against the white female. I have everything against the black man who can't find a black woman that he can love. Because when you marry something other than an African, you're telling me you cannot find a woman that looks like your mother that you can love. I got a problem with that. You know why? Because in a famous United States Supreme Court case called Loving versus Virginia, 68, right around the time they murdered Dr. King, the Supreme Court struck down all anti-miscegenation law. So you've only been allowed to get married to white girls nationally for about 40 years. And you Negroes have went crazy. An educated black man is more likely to marry a non-black woman than every other man in America put together marries outside of his race. You're going to tell me that that's a coincidence? What is it that's so special about the black man's attraction for the white woman? I ain't got no problem with the white woman. I got a problem with the fact that only 1 out of every 4 black women gets married. We got sisters looking for husbands, and you Negroes want to find something other than black. And then some of y'all want to cheat. Y'all make sure she's not straight white. Y'all get one of those Mediterranean Greek-looking Caucasians. So you can try to lie and say her great-grandfather was half black. Okay? We have to build community. In order to build community, we have to marry our own women. And if you say you can't find no good ones in New Jersey, go get her from New York. If you don't like the Brooklyn queen, get her from Harlem. And if you don't like the Newark queen, get her from Patterson. Or come on down to South Jersey and get you a nice, calm Camden sister. Okay? Or get you one of those sophisticated Trenton queens. Or come to my hood. I got some nice middle of the ghetto North Philly sisters. And if you don't like black women in America, we got them in Brazil. We got them in Jamaica. We got them up in Canada. We got them over in Europe. We got them in Australia. We got them in Africa. We got them in Asia. There's more black women than any other population in the world. And because of that, there's no excuses not to find an African woman. Absolutely. And people get mad at me because I'm like the only black scholar that says that. Negroes talking about something. You can help who you fall in love with. That's a damn lie. Back in slavery, you knew not to fall in love with Betsy. She'd get your ass hung. And guess what? She's still getting Negroes hung. Go ask Bill Cosby. Look what they did to my North Philly brother, Bill Cosby. He's 82 in a maximum security prison, legally blind. He needs 2 people to help him go to the bathroom, 2 people to go to bed, 2 people to get his food, 2 people to wash his body. This, at one time, was the #1 black entertainment personality in the world. Do y'all know it was Bill Cosby that laid the foundation for Richard Pryor? Bill Cosby laid the foundation for Dick Gregory. Bill Cosby was the first major black comedian and TV star to break into the major networks. And look at him now, disgrace, because he didn't know how to leave white cookies alone. Tiger Woods just won the Masters. It took him, what, 15 years to win another Masters? Because he cheated on his white wife, and she took half his money and became his damn master. I don't understand what it's going to take for you black men to learn. See, we got to have a conversation about racism. What's the 3 rules of racism, New Jersey? I need y'all to master this. Rule number 1, and this is no disrespect to our white visitors, we want them to stay because maybe they can help some of our children. Rule number 1, all white people are racist. Listen, I need y'all to understand what I'm saying. I didn't say all white people hate black people. I did not say that. I said all white people are racist. This is where I need you to understand, understand, and overstand this. Hate is emotion. Racism is power. Hate is emotion. Racism is power. Let me break it down a little further. White people do not have to dislike blacks to be racist. Racism is only about making sure that white people control the resources and the opportunities. That's it. It's about making sure that white New Jersey controls the resources of black New Jersey. It's about making sure white New Jersey controls the opportunities of black New Jersey. It ain't got nothing to do with what color your girlfriend is. It ain't got nothing to do with who your best friend is. It ain't got nothing to do with you having a white wife, a white husband, a white coworker. That's personal. Racism is business. And the problem with black people is we confuse personal relationships with white folks with systematic white privilege, resource control, and opportunity domination. Your son ain't got a job in Newark right now. Not because he don't want one, but the white folks won't hire him. And your white friends aren't going to do a damn thing to change that. Racism is about power and privilege, not hate. See, your problem is you don't put being black first. White people put being white first. Chinese put being Chinese first. Mexicans put being Mexican first. And black people put Jesus first. That's your damn problem. White man believe in Jesus, but Jesus ain't more important than white people. Chinese believe in Jesus, but Jesus ain't more important than the Chinese people. Mexicans believe in Jesus, but he does not come before the collective best interest and destiny of the Mexican people. Only with the Negro is your religion more important than your race. And I don't know why some of y'all clapping, because if I go into your house right now, half of y'all got a picture of Jesus cracker on your walls. Yes, you do. I heard about you New Jersey Negroes. I heard y'all got some of the biggest mega churches in America. Yeah! New Jersey black people love white Jesus. And what's wrong with having a picture on your wall of your deity looking like your enemy? You know what's wrong with it? When a little black child grows up in a house and sees God in the image of the white man, his brain will automatically generalize the power of white God to the power of white police, the power of the white judge, power of the white businessman. If God is white and white is power, black must automatically be of the devil. See, your child did not learn self-hate in public school. He did not learn self-hate in a white public school. He learned it in a black church Sunday school. Oh yes. Oh yes. The black church been teaching black kids to hate themselves longer than any public school in New Jersey. Your God better look like you. If you cannot see God in you, then you can't possibly see God in any other color. Blackness is divine. You don't think blackness is divine? Can I ask you a question? How much does 1 ounce of melanin sell for on the international market? The Queen said $500 a gram. I thought it was 100. It could be 500. But let's say at least $100 a gram and as much as $500 a gram. Oh yes. Oh yes, people buy melanin on the international market for hundreds of dollars. This stuff right here, black gold, people buy it. And you hate it because you fail to realize that God made you black not as a curse, but as a blessing. Every black man in here knows what I'm talking about when we say the darker the berry, the sweeter the... But here's the thing. Black women come in every shade. So you got no excuse. If you want a really light black woman that looks European, we got lemon sisters. We got French vanilla sisters. We got vanilla queens. We got butter almond. We got butter pecan. We got sweet brown sugar. We got caramel. We even got chocolate fudge. Woo! When that fudge get hot, when that chocolate fudge get hot, you better be ready to rumble. Got to love black women. Let's keep on going down the list. Don't go to no meetings by yourself. Don't sign no paperwork without reading it. Stop telling all your business. Number 4, black mother. Y'all ready for this? Don't get mad at me, my beautiful African sisters. But never, ever, 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 in the rest of your life, don't you ever drop off your children wearing your damn pajamas. I am so tired of you ghetto ass That is so embarrassing. 9 o'clock in the morning and you coming out there with some SpongeBob flip-flops, hair all tied up, old drunk-ass pajama shirt. Those old nasty pajama pants, stains all on it. Do you know what you tell white folks when you show up in your pajamas? You're telling them, I have no life, I have no job, I have nothing to do. And the minute I drop him off, I'm gonna go back in the bed and make some more. You don't let white folks know you're unemployed. And even if you're not unemployed, if you show up in your pajamas, they will make the assumption that you are. So guess what? If you can't find nothing nice to wear, go and rent a tuxedo and wear that shit. Drop me off in a tux. Go get you a Grammys gown and wear that in there. Coming in like Diana Ross for early dismissal. But you do not wear your pajamas in school. Number 5, black mother, black father. I don't know why we can lay down and make them, but can't seem to stand up and raise them. Can somebody explain to me why the only time black men and women can get along is when we're laying on our backs? But whenever we're standing on our feet, we can't seem to get along. But we can bake some cookies. Never argue in front of white folks about your kids. Because guess what? I work in a school. So if the mother and the father don't get along, I just go along with the one that want to do what I want to do. Yes, a school can legally go with the parent that they agree with, assuming that they have shared legal custody. If y'all have shared legal custody and he don't want his son on drugs, but the mom want him on crack for kids, I'm gonna go with the mom because the mom wanna do what I wanna do. Now, speaking of ADHD, which is a fraud, ADHD don't exist. ADHD is a hustle. And when did they add the H? 1980, ADD. 1987, ADHD. Do you know why they added the word hyperactivity? Because there's no drug that can make your child pay attention. So the drug companies were losing money on ADD. So they paid the American Psychiatric Association to put the H. So today, there is no ADD. Everybody is hyperactive, even when they're not, to justify the prescriptions. Now, ADHD is nothing other than regular black boy behavior. Regular black boy behavior. And I'm gonna prove it to you right now, because I'm gonna read you the criteria right now. This is exactly what we go off when we diagnose ADHD. Listen to this shit. All my ADHD parents, listen to what you agreed to put your son on dangerous crack that kill his brain cells, will make him go bald, can cause schizophrenia, psychosis, suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts, organ failure, stroke, heart attack, sexual impotence. Let's read it. Fails to give close attention to detail. Has difficulty sustaining attention. Does not listen when spoken to. Does not follow through on instructions. Has difficulty organizing his work. Is reluctant to engage in tasks that require sustained mental effort. Can I ask you a question? What black person you know does anything with sustained mental effort? Your ass in here today, I got 2 hours before you stop sustaining mental effort. Why would you expect a 5-year-old to sustain mental effort? Let's keep going. Loses things necessary to get his work done. That's a mental illness. Let's keep going. Is easily distracted. Is forgetful in his activities. Taps with his hands and feet. Leaves his seat when he's supposed to stay seated. Runs or climbs excessively. Is often on the go. Acts like he's driven by a motor. Talks excessively. Can't wait his turn. Blurts out answers. And is unable to play quietly. What black child? What white child? What Chinese child do you know plays quietly? And guess what I just read you? The diagnosis of ADHD. So if you want to know why every other black boy in New Jersey is taking kitty crack, it's because ADHD is nothing but regular boy behavior. That's why I do not diagnose it. You know why it's so popular? Because schools are run by women. And since schools are dominated by women, women can only relate to a female child. See, a girl can sit still for 7 hours a day. A boy cannot do that. When a girl goes through puberty, what do y'all do all day? Sleep! When a boy goes through puberty, fellas, what do we all day? Run, jump, tackle, wrestle, basketball, football. Testosterone is an energy hormone. Testosterone is an energy hormone. And you know what makes it so bad? You got a school telling you your child need medicine, and they don't even have a gym class. You got a school telling you your child need medicine, they don't even go on class trips. You got a school telling you your child need medicine, they don't even have a playground. Are you kidding me? You got young, growing boys with nothing to do physically. They're supposed to sit still for 35 hours a week. And when they can't, they're called disordered. You're crazy as hell if you let anybody diagnose your child with ADHD. Guess what ADHD really stands for? Ain't no daddy at home disorder. That's the problem. Ain't no daddies in there to whip that ass. That's all it is. See, in my house, I couldn't catch ADHD. I couldn't catch conduct disorder. I couldn't catch opposition or defiance. I couldn't imagine if I would have came home and said, Dad, I beat up my teacher. Can I have some drugs? The hell wrong with you? ADHD was right around his waist, wasn't it, fellas? Couldn't nobody go to our father talk about something? Oh, don't beat him. He has no control over it. Right? And then y'all got white folks telling y'all, you can't hit your kids. That's illegal. It's not good for psychological development. I know. That's why your kids be blowing shit up. Y'all see how the white folks be in the supermarket with the little badass little boys? Mommy, I want Lucky Charms. No, Thomas, we talked about this. No sugar all week, remember? Fuck you. I want my Charms. And then he ripped the whole damn out. And then she'd be on her knees. Thomas, please stop. Black folks, we don't do that. We believe in respect. We believe in hierarchy. We believe in respect of age. See, white folks believe you should negotiate with your children. Black people believe you should dictate to your children. White folks believe it's okay for the child to let you know they don't like you. Black people believe if you ever say some shit like that, got white folks telling us how to raise our kids. Are you crazy? Well, if I hit them, they gonna take them. It all depends on how you respond when they show up. I got a story for you. I knew a black man, son got tough with his mom, father whipped his ass. Son called the cops. Cops came. Sir, we got a call from your son, physical harm. He said, oh, hell yeah. This is my house, and that's my wife. And anybody who disrespects my wife gonna get dealt with, whether it be you or my son. If y'all wanna take them, take them. And then he looked at the son and said, if those crackers take you out this house, don't bring your black ass back. And guess what? He went back to his room and the police said, have a nice day. If you're gonna let white folks come in and dominate, that's what they gonna do. But you let your child know you do that to me, it's gonna be consequences. It will not happen. See, you need discipline. I didn't say child abuse. If all you do is put your hands on your child every time they do something wrong, that's child abuse. I want to be clear about that. A child should not be spanked every time they do something wrong. Physical spanking should be reserved for extreme misconduct. What do you mean? If your child does something so egregious that it could have affected the safety and life of him or another person, you whip that ass. So let me give you an example. My son came in 30 minutes late from curfew. He's supposed to be in at 8:30. He got in at 9. He broke my rule. Did that cost him his life? No. Did that cost anybody else their life? No. So guess what? Tomorrow, you're not going out. That's your punishment, okay? Your daughter got a C on the test when you don't accept nothing less than a B. Is that going to change her life? No. So she goes to early bed. Your other son got caught joyriding in a stolen car without his license. That's grand theft auto. You don't have a license, that's your record. You could have killed somebody because you don't know how to drive. I'ma whip that ass! You caught your 5-year-old in the kitchen playing with the stove, trying to light shit on fire. Whip that ass! Do you see the difference? If it ain't gonna hurt nobody, give them something soft. But if it can mess up somebody, grandma up there in a wheelchair, you playing with matches, oh hell no. Light that ass up. And let me make sure y'all understand this, so y'all can explain it to white folks who think it's child abuse. Tell them African Americans spanking their children goes back to slavery. And the reason we do it is to prepare our children for the consequences that will occur in the white man's world if you do what you did here out there with him. In my house, it's an ass whipping. But if you don't stop when the police tell you to stop, it might cost you your life. So we spank to prepare our children so they don't have to go through what they go through in his house out there with white folks where there are no second chances. So do you know what I'm saying, black mother? I'm saying that all my black mothers in here who love giving your son a second chance, and a third chance, and a fourth chance, you setting him up for failure because the white man gives him one chance. I don't believe in chances. If you messed up, you get a consequence. That's how life is. Cause and reaction. Y'all raising your sons to think they can always get out of something. You are setting them up for failure. Too many black mothers, and I love my black mothers, y'all done an excellent job raising these babies without the fathers being around. But some of you are turning your sons into the exact type of man you yourself would never want to marry. Too many sisters are loving their sons instead of raising them. Black mother, stop yelling at your son. Stop cursing at your son. That does not change behavior. And why do black women yell and curse? Because you're too lazy. You're too lazy to get off your butt and give him a consequence. Yelling is laziness. Cursing is laziness. You know why you cursing? Because Housewives of Atlanta is on and you don't want to have to stop to go deal with that. I want to make sure y'all understand me now. You cannot teach discipline if you don't have none. You cannot teach discipline if you don't have none. And what is Dr. Umar's definition of discipline? It's the ability to do what needs to be done when it gotta be done, whether you like it or not. Your child must graduate from your house with the God-given discipline to do what he don't even like because it got to be done. Michael Jordan wasn't the greatest basketball player. The greatest basketball player, you will never know him. Michael Jordan had the discipline to become the greatest. The greatest scientist wasn't Dr. George Washington Carver. You'll never know who the greatest scientist was. But Dr. George Washington Carver had the discipline to work. Dr. Umar Johnson ain't the greatest black school psychologist. You'll never know who he was. Dr. Umar simply had the discipline to put up with them damn devils and get that paperwork. Teach the children discipline. And guess what? The best time to teach discipline is when it's toughest on yourself. Beyonce is coming to Newark. Beyonce tickets are $300. Your daughter loves Beyonce. You're gonna buy 2 tickets, one for her, one for her cousin. You bought the tickets 6 months ago when they was on sale. The Beyonce concert is tomorrow. Your daughter came home with her report card today. She failed a class. You don't accept F's in your house. But the Beyonce concert tomorrow, you don't know if Beyonce is ever coming back to Newark again. This is the only chance for your daughter to see her favorite artist. What do? Do you make an exception and let her know it's okay to screw up as long as it's Beyonce? Guess what you do? You bring her in and you say, this is love. Because I love you so much, I got to make sure you understand that getting F's on your report card is affecting your ability to get a free scholarship to college because I cannot afford it. So until you improve these grades, you'll never see Beyonce all your damn life. Brothers and sisters, for those of you who want to work at my school, if you want to work at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, I want your resume. Do not worry about being a certified teacher. Do not worry about being a licensed teacher. Private schools operate a little bit differently, and we are an independent school. So many of you will be able to teach in my school without a license at all. If you think you're good enough to be the math teacher, if you think you're good enough to be my science teacher, if you think you're good enough to be my language teacher, if you think you're good enough to be my social studies and civics teacher, I want your resume. Not only do I want resumes in those areas, I need people who can speak African languages and who know how to teach it. I want every child to speak at least 2 African languages. Not only that, some of you have a green thumb. You have gardens in the back of your house. You know how to grow plums and tomatoes and bananas and watermelons and all of that. You might say, hey, Dr. Umar, I'm pretty good with gardening. I'd like to come and teach your young men how to garden. Some of you might know how to build computers. Dr. Umar, I want to come and teach the young men how to build their own computer. Some of you might be good with animals. We're going to have a horse farm at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Every classroom will have their own horse. Whatever you're good at, send your resume in for that. I had a black woman in Washington, D.C. last month send me an email. She said, Dr. Umar, I have over 6 brand new sewing machines. I'm going to donate them to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, and I'm going to come and teach your young men how to make clothes. And so guess what? The first thing they're going to make at my school is their own damn drawers. They might be holy, the stitch might be in the wrong place, the butt might be out, but it's going to be their drawers. And every boy at the school can say, I made my own underwear. Guess what? I got another brother who knows how to make shoes. He's going to come to the school and teach our young men how to make their own shoes. I need secretaries, counselors, nurses, home and school. Some of you might be real good at yoga. We're going to teach that. Some of you may be good at African martial arts. We're going to teach that. Some of you may be good with guns and weapons. Yes, we are going to teach that. And yes, ladies, although it is an all-male school, I believe in the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energy. That means my staff will be half male and half female. But I need real females, not this hard, tough Mike Tyson neck. I want real women. I want feminine. See, let me explain something to my sisters in here, and then I'm going to start wrapping up so I can take a few questions. White women, the feminist movement, have convinced black women that you got to act like a man to be equal to a man. And I'm here to tell you that God made you a woman on purpose. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper. According to African spirituality, the first energy that God created was not the masculine. It was the feminine, which makes perfect sense because the womb gives birth to the life. So there can't be no life without the feminine to give birth to it. It don't make women better than men, and it don't make men better than women, but it makes us perfect equals. The problem is, some of y'all that went to college too damn long and got hooked up with the white feminists telling you that the black man is your problem. He ain't got no job, he's in and out of jail, can't take care of his family. But have you ever asked yourself, why is he in and out of jail? Have you ever asked yourself why he can't find a job? Have you ever asked yourself why he can't take care of his family? Because if you trace it all back, you'll find out that your problem ain't the black man, but the white man that disadvantaged him. We fight together. Black man and black woman, we fight together. We do not divide ourselves. I understand why the white woman fought the white man. The white man told the white woman, you can't work. The white man told the white woman, you can't be a preacher. The white man told the white woman, you can't vote. The white man told the white woman, you can't go to college. The white man told the white woman, you can't wear pants. I understand why she fought, because the white man controlled the society, and so he controlled her. When the black woman says, I'm a black feminist, that means you're fighting against systematic oppression from black men. If you're fighting against systematic oppression from black men, answer me one question. What system do black men control that we can use to oppress black men? Do we control the jobs? Do we control college? Do we control the criminal justice system? Do we control the economy? Y'all got more education than we do. Y'all make more money than we do. How in the hell can black men control black women? What black man in here can control what his woman wants to do with her life? What black man is going to stop a black woman from getting a job? What black man is going to stop a black woman from wearing some damn jeans? Do you know how good you look in some damn jeans? Are you crazy? I love to look at a black woman in some jeans with the little heels on them. Damn! All cut all up and chiseled up and proportioned all up and Serena Williams all up and... Brothers and sisters, we got a lot of work to do. If you want to send me your resume, the email address is FDMG resumes, RESUMES@gmail.com. I need your resume. I need a cover letter telling me something about you to make sure you're not an agent or a coon. And I need a photo, because I can pick up your energy from your photo. I can say, look at her neck. I can say, look how tight his t-shirt is. Now, black women, you cannot work at my school unless you're 100% nappy by nature. No weave, no perm, no straightening comb, no European hair color. Now, let me clarify. Because some of y'all probably like, I want to work. Well, guess what? You okay? Because you can send in your resume now. School won't be ready for about a year. And you can cut that shit off. Let your new growth come back. Get all them bald spots and craters out your head. And come in with your twisties, your baby fro, your Caesar, your locks, looking just as fine as you can be. So you got time, so you can send me the picture with the perm, but when you show up, if you get the job, you make sure you come natural. See, I want my boys to be attracted. We're socializing them to only love black women who love themselves. And don't worry, if you forget to cut it off, you know I cut hair. Let your ass walk in my door. I'ma bulge your ass. And I'm not knocking my sisters for not being natural. I'm knocking my brothers for you not being natural. That's right, black man, that's our fault. The reason black women are wearing perms and weaves is because they have studied us. And they have seen that the black man, although he might act like he pro-black, prefers a woman that looks like she's pro-white. Let's keep it a buck in here tonight. Let's keep it a buck in here tonight. It's not the black woman, but the black man that's responsible for the $30 billion we be wasting on hair care. Black man, you can make your woman go natural overnight. We can all do it. It takes some time because she got to fix scalp burns. That's why when it's time for me to get married, I only got one question for my wife. It is not how many kids you got. It is not how much money you make. It is not how many degrees. It ain't your religion. I only got one question. Can I see your damn scalp to make sure it ain't no bullet holes on it? Because you ain't going to get to my honeymoon bed and think you're going to show me what was under there. Ringworms and centipedes and Mr. T. Black man, if your woman got scalp damage, get you some of that hot shea butter. Some nice almond shea butter. Make it real hot, pour it on her head and massage her head and talk to her head. Say, listen, I need this shit to grow back. We get married in 3 weeks. Please. Ancestors. Kiss it. I love my sisters. Brothers, put a hand together for the black women in the room for doing the job. Where's Brother Rial? LaRon, you got the papers? I want you and LaRon to split them up for me, please, and go ahead and give them out. Some of y'all know I've been working on a documentary called The Shockumentary, America's Psychoacademic War Against Black Boys. It's going to be a series released in the movie theater. It will be out Black History Month 2020. The first shockumentary is going to focus on the 5-state area of Washington, D.C., Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. We start filming next month. Listen to me clearly. There's 3 ways you can be in this documentary, which is going to be the most powerful documentary ever produced on the school to prison pipeline. Number 1, if any of you have a story, a testimonial about something you saw happen to a black boy. It could have been your son, your brother, your nephew, your cousin, or black man, yourself. If you want to tell what you've been through, black mother, you want to tell what you've been through, black father, you want to tell what you've been through. But not only parents, maybe you're a social worker. Maybe you're a counselor, maybe you're a probation officer, maybe you police, maybe you're a principal, maybe you're a community leader, maybe you run a program for black children and you want to tell about what you've seen happen to black boys through the years. He's giving out forms. Fill this out. Leave it with us today if you can. If you can't leave it, take a picture of it, email it to me. Fill it out, take a picture, email it to me. What is my email address? DrUmarJohnson, Dr. Umar Johnson at yahoo.com. One word, no periods, no spaces. You can also take a picture and text message your form to me. What is my cell number? Please take down my cell number. 215-989-9858. I repeat, 215-989-9858. One more time for my special ed parents. I'm just joking. 215-989-9858. We start interviewing in 4 weeks. We're coming to New Jersey and we're coming to your house and we're going to sit you down and interview you about what you've seen happen to the black boy in your life. Black man, we're going to sit you down and interview you about what you've been through in your life. Teacher, counselor, social worker, nurse, probation officer, halfway house, whatever you do, if you got a story to tell, fill out that form and get it back to me. That's the first way you can participate. Second way you can participate. Raise your hand if you sing. You make music, you sing. Any singers in here? Okay, you can put them down. Raise your hand if you do conscious hip hop. You rap, conscious hip hop. Put them down. Raise your hand if you do spoken word. We got any spoken word artists? We got a couple. Put your hand down. What about traditional poetry? Any traditional poets? We got a couple of them. This is how you can be in the documentary. 2 ways. Number 1, you can perform your song, your poem, your rap on video. We will tape you and we will include it in the documentary if it's good enough. There will be no background music. You will be outside in Newark, New Jersey, a cappella, no music, singing your song, rapping your rap, or offering your poem. We want it to be natural. We want it to be grassroots. If you want to be performed, to possibly be in my film, you have to perform your poem, your song, your rap. You don't have to dress up. You ain't got to stand up. I just need to see you singing it, the whole thing. I need to see you rapping it, the whole thing. I need to see you offering poetry. Just get somebody to tape you, tape yourself, text it to me, or email me, and I will be in contact with you for when we're coming to Newark to videotape you outside. That's one way. The other way, you say, I don't want to be in the documentary, but I want to submit some music. If you have a song that you want us to use in the film, you must email me the song with the music, and then you must email me a second song, purely instrumental. The instrumental is for the film. The full song is for the mixtape. We're releasing a mixtape and we are releasing a soundtrack to help us raise money to pay for the documentary. You still owe the song. We do not own your music. You're simply letting us use it for the film and to raise money for the film. If you are an up-and-coming artist, this is the best way for you to get exposure. Dr. Umar Johnson travels all over the world. I go to every continent. If you are on my soundtrack, if you are in my documentary, if you are on my mixtape, the whole world will learn who you are. You're talking about millions of dollars worth of free publicity from the most requested black scholar in the world. If you got something and you're trying to get your name out there, now's your chance. What is the deadline? The deadline to submit your art is June the 1st. I must have your poem, I must have your song, I must have your spoken word by June the 1st. If you want to be interviewed, I need to hear from you by the end of the week. I need that form back by the end of this week because I need to call you next week to let you know what day and time me and the film team are coming to Newark to interview you. With that being said, I want to wrap up by saying this. That school that we got in Delaware will not only be a school, it will be a black community organization headquarters. It will be the Taj Mahal of black power. It will be the Timbuktu of Black Nation building. We got 4 buildings, y'all. 2 schools, not 1. We have a large school. That's the Frederick Douglass building. 16 classrooms in a gym larger than this one. Small school, the Marcus Garvey building, 8 classrooms in a separate gym. And then we have a 4th building. If you need a paper, raise your hand. You got a couple over here, need the form. I'm saying that to say that although we educate the boys in the day, in the evening it becomes the black community's organizing center. I want to have a black women's conference. I want all black women to lock themselves in that school for a weekend and work out your problems. How can black women unite? Stop being so petty. Y'all gotta talk about raising children. Y'all gotta talk about starting your own businesses. Y'all gotta talk about healing from your sexual trauma. Y'all gotta talk about helping each other with these babies. Y'all gotta talk about becoming midwives and doulas and start having our babies at home like we used to do. And then I want to have a black man's conference. I want to have a black youth conference and get all my little brothers in there together so we can re-Africanize their consciousness. And then I want to have a Black Wall Street once a month. Can you imagine? Everybody in America, black, come to the school. And every black business on the East Coast is in the same place at the same time. And you can buy your clothes, your shea butter, your incense, your vegan food, your jewelry, you can get your business consult, your health consult, your insurance consult, all under the same roof at the same time. Black Wall Street. Brothers and sisters, in order for us to finish that school, we need you to donate. There's three ways you can donate. Number one, if you are on the Cash App, the handle to donate to the school is $FDMG School. I repeat, $FDMG School. If you're not on the Cash App, the full link is cash.me/$FDMG School. Second way you can donate. And if you forget all this, you can text message me, you have my number. The second way you donate is by mailing a check or money order payable to FDMG Academy, and the address is 9634. P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware 19809. And the third way you can donate is bring a check to Hartford, Connecticut. Sunday, May 19th, Malcolm X's 94th birthday. I will be speaking in Hartford, Connecticut for the first time ever at the Artist Collective in Hartford, 2 hours from where you're sitting. Just like today, doors open up at 2, lecture at 4. But guess where I really want to see you? I want to see you in Wilmington, Delaware, at the Boys and Girls Club, right around the corner from our school, Saturday and Sunday, June 8th and June 9th for the 2-day training. It is intense. You're going to get paperwork. You're going to learn everything about special ed, everything about the IEP, everything about federal law, everything about No Child Left Behind, everything about Title I. 2 days with me. You will be a master advocate. And then I hope you come back and help us build a chapter of the NIVPA. As I close, my family was brought to America in 1701. A black man by the name of Bailey stole her from Nigeria. He married a black woman by the name of Selah. In 1745, they had Grandma Jenny. In 1774, 2 years before the Declaration of Independence, Grandma Jenny gave birth to Grandma Betsy. Grandma Betsy was born a slave, but she married a free black man, Grandpa Isaac. They had 12 children. One daughter was named Harriet. Another daughter, my 5 times great-grandmother, her name was Betsy. These 2 sisters were raped by Aaron Anthony, the white man who owned my family. As a result of that rape, in 1818, Aunt Harriet gave birth to the greatest black leader in American history. His name was Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. At the age of 20, Cousin Frederick ran away from slavery and changed his name to hide his identity on the Underground Railroad. So in 1838, Frederick Bailey became Frederick Douglass. The next year, my grandmother Betsy gave birth to Frederick's first cousin and half-brother, my 4 times great-grandfather, Stephen Henry Bailey. If you've ever read Frederick Douglass's Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, or My Bondage and My Freedom, or The Life and Times of Frederick Douglass, he talks about growing up on Tuckahoe Creek with Cousin Stephen. Cousin Stephen is Stephen Henry Bailey, Dr. Umar's 4 times great-grandfather. Grandpa Stephen was born July the 1st, 1819. He wasn't as lucky to run away like Frederick. He married a black woman on the Lloyd slave plantation, my grandma Caroline. In 1841, 10 years after the Nat Turner War, they gave birth to my 3 times great-grandfather, George Washington Bailey. the first black public school teacher in Dayton, Maryland. The Civil War starts in 1861. Frederick doesn't fight, but he sends Lewis and Charles up to Boston, and the two sons of Frederick Douglass fight in the 54th Massachusetts Colored Regiment. If you've ever seen the movie Glory, Glory is about the sons of Frederick Douglass. My grandfather Stephen and his son, my grandfather George, father and son, fought side by side in the United States Colored Troops of Maryland. When the Civil War is over, Grandpa George marries Grandma Annie. Grandma Annie is the niece of Bishop Alexander Wayman, the 7th Bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. If you ever heard of William Still of the Philadelphia Underground Railroad, who collected the largest compilation of escaped slave narratives, well, guess where he got that office from? It was my uncle, Bishop Wayman, that gave William Still control of the Philadelphia Underground Railroad office. And so then, Grandpa George and Grandma Annie had Grandma Caroline. She moves to Philadelphia after her parents died. She gives birth to Grandma Vivian. Grandma Vivian falls in love with a Spanish-speaking Cuban immigrant from Havana, Cuba, my great-grandfather Cicero. They give birth to my grandma Ida, who died 1 year ago, April the 30th, 2018. She meets and marries James Johnson, and they have Jamal Johnson, and he meets and marries Barbara in North Philadelphia. And on August the 21st, the anniversary of the Haitian Revolution, August the 21st, the anniversary of the Nat Turner War, August the 21st, the anniversary of Frederick Douglass's Fugitive Slave Convention, August the 21st, the anniversary of the George Jackson Prison War, Umar Johnson was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. I'm the damn Messiah. But hold, before I give y'all my closing quote, they said, can you remind the crowd, if you need advocacy, please remember that you have an NIBPA here. Montclair, raise your hand, Sister Kalia. She's the president of the Montclair chapter of the National Independent Black Parent Association. And if you come to Wilmington, Delaware, June 8th and 9th, you will see her there. And if you come to Wilmington, Delaware, June 8th and 9th, you will get a free tour of the school. I want to close with this from Frederick Douglass. He said, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and deprecate agitation are like men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain, but can't stand the thunder or the ocean. They want the water, but they don't want to deal with the awful roar of the waves. Frederick said, a man may not get all that he pays for, but you will pay for all that you get. And if we want to be free, then we ourselves must pay for their removal, with blood, with boldness, or with our very lives. But if we don't fight to make ourselves free, then we're not worthy of being free at all. Frederick said, a man may not get all he pays for in this world, but you will pay for everything that you get. He said, for 20 years, I prayed on my knees to God for freedom, but the good Lord gave me no freedom till I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet. He said, if you want respect from white people, why do you look for pity? The man who pities you will never respect you, and the man who respects you has no need for pity. He said, but most of all, remember, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, leader of the largest black organization in modern history, the man who gave us this red, black, and green flag once said, without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won, even before you have started. Queen Mother Harriet Tubman was once asked, all those years you spent on the Underground Railroad, did you ever get scared? She said, never. But there were times that I almost got caught. And whenever I almost got caught, I would get on my hands and knees and call to Almighty God for a way out of that situation. And Queen Mother Harriet said, whenever I called on a Most High God, he would find a way for me to get up out my situation. She said, not only was I the lead conductor of the Underground Railroad, I was a nurse in the Civil War. I was a spy in the Civil War. I was a scout in the Civil War. Not only that, I moved to Auburn, New York, and took what little money I made in the Civil War washing clothes, and I built an old folks home for black people. And I built a hospital for black people. And Harriet Tubman's first husband was a coon, so she divorced him and married another husband. And guess what, black woman? Harriet Tubman's second husband was 20 years younger than her. Hey! It keeps you young. Queen Mother Harriet said, I freed a lot of Africans, hundreds. I could have freed more if they only knew that they were Africans. I want to leave you with one last parable. The story of Booker T. Washington. Born a slave, he walked to Hampton Institute in Virginia. When he got to Hampton Institute, he couldn't afford to pay for college. So he begged the white principal of Hampton to let him work his way through school. When he finished his studies, the principal of Hampton got a phone call. A black community in Tuskegee, Alabama wanted a Negro educator who could come and help them learn how to make a living. Booker T took the job. When he got to Tuskegee, there was no school. He had to use a half-finished church in Old Barn. He struggled. When the first class of students came to Tuskegee, they said, where's our dorm, lunchroom, lecture hall? Booker T said, you're standing on it. He made the students of Tuskegee build their own bricks, make their own dorms, they cooked their own food, they sewn their own clothes. They became so famous for making bricks that the white construction companies will come buy bricks from the students of Tuskegee instead of other white males. Booker T said, I need a science teacher. He heard of a black man by the name of Dr. George Washington Carver, the first of his race to get a PhD in agricultural science in the state of Iowa. Dr. George Washington Carver was castrated as a child. White people removed his reproductive because they feared that he would want to rape their daughter, so they castrated him. That's why George Washington Carver never had any children, and that's why his voice was so high-pitched, because he was castrated. Booker T came to Dr. Carver and said, will you come and work at my school? At the time, George Washington Carver was being recruited by the U.S. Army. George Washington Carver was being recruited by the top pharmaceutical companies because he was the #1 scientist, not black, not black. He was the #1 scientist in America, period. He turned all that down, and he came down to Tuskegee to work for Booker. And when he got there, he said, Booker T. Washington, where's my office? Where's my science lab? Where's my dormitory? And Booker said, George, I was born in slavery just like you. All we got is what you see. And that black man born a slave did not complain. He went to the trash of the students of Tuskegee, Alabama. He took out plastic, copper, aluminum, iron, wood, and from the garbage of the students of Tuskegee Normal School, gave us more than 300 products from the peanut, gave us more than 500 products from the sweet potato, gave us more than 200 products from the soybean. New Jersey, I got a question for you. How is it our ancestors had nothing and made everything? You got everything and have made nothing. Newark, New Jersey, one love, black family. Thanks for coming out.